Hello, my friends. SissiTV brings you to the Bali station. As you know, Bali is an exotic little island in Indonesia. For its beauty of food, beach, sunshine attracts millions of tourists every year. But something you may don't know as you can actually start a lifestyle here for making money, start your own business. Have you ever thought living in an island and living this dream life was everybody wanted? So the question is, what can you do and what kind of business can you start? Maybe open a restaurant or maybe open a bar, can say the stars. Or have you ever thought open a hotel or guest house or maybe hostels? Well, today I bring you a story of two inspired women open their yoga retreat. Let's interview how they make it happen.
Hello there, welcome to SissiTV Channel 5. And so now I'm traveling all over the world, well technically traveling Asia. So this is a fabulous time and I'm so lucky to meet just wonderful people all over the world. So this time in Bali, I'm very lucky to meet two really good friends, and also they're the founder of Low Thai Yoga. So for me, they're very inspiring and heart-touching story and how they discovered their journey of life and quit their corporate job and moved to Bali, opened this yoga retreat, and with a big purpose to serve. And this is all I'm crazy about, this entrepreneur and the spirit and of discover your life and live your dreams. So today I have invited both of them and we're going to interview them and tell their story to all of you. We're going to share this wonderful moment together. So here I'm with Beverly. I'm just very curious about personal life, right? Because we're all talking about the journey of discover yourself and looking into your purpose. So I want to hear from you. So how did it started? But you working for corporate before you moved here, right?
Yeah. Well, I moved here from Los Angeles. I was born and raised in Singapore, and then I went to California, San Francisco for a few years, then Los Angeles to study for college, and then I worked for a few years in media sales. After that, I moved, when I was turning 25, I moved to Shanghai to begin my corporate career in property, in retail real estate. And it was the beginning. At that period of time, I was very driven. Like all I cared about was climbing the corporate ladder, making a name for myself, proving to everybody that I'm capable and successful. So from moving to Shanghai, which was booming and an exciting place, was the perfect place for that. I got a big role taking care of the Asia Pacific market for a fashion brand, opening stores, and I was doing quite well on track in the corporate ladder, but I started to have a lot of questions, like, is this what I want to do? I feel empty, I don't really care about the money anymore. I want to spend my life living like this at 40. This is just feeling empty and just making money and traveling. I did a lot of business travel and I had no energy from my family and friends.
Okay.
And thinking like, it doesn't matter how high I climb or how much bonuses I get. If I'm 40, like I have no relationships with the people that I care about.
So you sound like
lonely.
A workaholic.
Yeah.
Of typical.
Very driven at that point.
Okay.
And then when I was turning 29, I had I went through a breakup, and then I was so burned out with business travel and this corporate job that I suddenly quit the job. So all these few years I have been building my resume and like all this what I wanted to do. So quitting that job suddenly was quite a drastic step in that.
And why quit suddenly?
I just felt like I couldn't stand it anymore. Like I felt 4 years of me, when I quit a job, then the relationship would suffer because there's a lot of anger and like frustration, and I'll end the relationship. Then in this next 6 months, I'll climb back again, get another good corporate job, and then get into another seemingly happy relationship, and then quit again, and then go down into depression. And so that happened constantly. Like it was a 6 month cycle, up and down for about 4 years.
4 years.
And by the 4th year, I just kind of lost hope. I was just like, maybe I'm just a jaded person, and this is the rest of my life. Like, this is me. I'm a depressed adult,
Well, I'm sure a lot of people have been there before.
Yeah, and I think what made me super depressed at the 4th year, I gave up on myself because I was just thinking, every year it's the same cycle. I can't seem to change it, and every year it doesn't matter how much I build something beautiful, I would destroy it. Building something that it's not what my soul wanted. It's what I thought looked good to everybody else, and I wanted to impress. Yeah, I wanted to impress people. I wanted to prove myself. But I think my subconscious had enough of it, so I couldn't control it. I just within 3 to maximum 6 months, I would quit the job and I'll quit the relationship, and I'll just like get depressed, you know. So it was on the 4th year that I just gave up hope. I was just like, I can't fight like this. I can't do this anymore. Like,
I'm totally
calling.
understand.
And so I stopped going out. I was avoiding everybody I knew. I didn't leave my complex for about 3 weeks.
Kind of like escaping from
Yeah, I
the
was just
life.
like, just stayed at home, didn't want to get out of bed, like sleeping till 4 until the sun was setting, so I don't have to go and meet people. It was and I gained 7 kilos. I stopped exercising every day.
Well, 7 kilos is nothing.
Yeah, but it's a lot for a small girl like me. It's
Okay,
like
alright.
I'm 40 something kilos. So it's almost 10%. That I was self-destructing because I was giving up hope in myself, and then finally I saw how much that was affecting my parents and my family. That I decided that that was enough, and I enrolled myself in a teacher training in Bali because I did a 1-month training. That's where I met Narina, my
Yes.
business partner, and I just knew that yoga would help me gain balance. And it was really within that 1 month that I felt alive, and I
The
felt
confidence coming
I
back.
felt that life that had been gone for so long. And then I felt like this is what I want to do. I want to be around nature. I want to have yoga in my life. I want to be healthy. And so then I stayed on for 2 more years to continue to study and teach yoga. And then that led to this retreat happening.
So, thank you for giving us a complete picture. Let's get started. Here we're with Nina, which is another co-founder of Low Tech Yoga. So Nina's story is quite different because she's already an established woman. So she's a travel writer and also a photographer. So I know a lot of us, trying to be either fashion designer or a photographer, it sounds so cool, but just don't know where to start. So I'm really curious about Nina. So how did you start this kind of like travel writer sort of life, and where did you start? And do you study travel blogging or?
I studied a long time ago, and I studied journalism.
Oh.
So I started out working in a newspaper and moved on to working in magazines in about 1999. But
I won't tell people how old you are.
it was a long time ago.
Okay.
But basically, I got a lucky break when I was working in London and became the travel editor of a magazine there.
I see.
And after working in travel magazines in London and in South Africa for a long time, I realized that I wasn't living a life that was true to myself. I felt very tied down to where I was, to working in an office.
Where you so
living
like
behind
trapped.
walls. It took a long time, but it was actually starting to practice yoga that made me realize I wasn't being true to myself and I wasn't being honest with myself.
I see.
And I needed to set myself free from all the boundaries that I had and everything that tied me down. And that was how life on the road came about, really.
I see.
And so after working in magazines for a long time, working full-time in magazines for a long time, I had built up enough relationships and connections to work
Credentials.
freelance.
Yes.
So, and to be able to go back to my travel writing roots, which is what I really wanted and had always kind of been wanting to do. So it was a learning, it was a career of learning and then kind of taking the next step after all the learning had been done.
That sounds like a so interesting story, because I know you've been writing about women, like inspiring women. You write a lot about them. So we sort of see a pattern for a lot of women entrepreneurs. They sort of try to figure out where they belong. They go into this depression. They're so trapped, then suddenly they go somewhere. Start a journey of exploring where it belongs to. So, and for all the stories you have read, and do you think that's a common pattern for a lot of women, or do you think some people, they were just born with to know where they're going?
I could talk to you for ages and ages about that, but I think that people are starting to become more aware of how they can be more true to themselves and
Awareness.
absolutely, and we're living in a time now where it's becoming okay to be yourself, and it's becoming okay to challenge the conventional notions of what you're supposed to be. So
Definitely.
for our parents, it was you had to get married, have kids, have a
Yes,
job.
absolutely.
And there's so many people
doesn't?
who are, for who that's changing, and people are becoming brave enough to challenge and to take the next step and to kind of go, well, that's not the life that's okay for me.
Yes.
And I think it's becoming more and more common, and I'm seeing more and more women who are doing that. But there are some who are able to take that step, and others
Brave enough.
who who wish they could but haven't yet found the right time. I believe there's a right time for everything, and you know when that right time comes for you to take that next step.
You know, in China we have this old saying, we say for any wonderful things to happen requires 3 elements. It's got timing, location, and right person. So I believe this wonderful retreat, it means a lot to you, and I see this wonderful 3 elements working together at the same time. So Mark, as you know, your lifestyle is really somebody's dreaming of for, you know, people working in the cities. How could you make it happen? I mean, how did you do it?
I work for I'm freelance. I work for magazines more than blogging actually.
Yes.
And I started off as a book writer.
A book writer.
I was a backpacker, and I was sort of bumming around the world backpacking.
Great.
Did an expedition in Borneo and wrote
Yeah.
a book about it.
And
the book wasn't a huge success, but I guess it got editors to be interested, you know.
Okay.
And that was what got me into magazines.
Okay. So how, I mean, and can't you just tell me like a bit about yourself before you become this kind of like, you know, like a dreamer for life, traveling around? And what do you do before?
I was just backpacking for years.
Just backpacking for years.
Backpacking and working casual jobs just to make enough money to hit the road for another 6 months.
And can you just tell us a little bit about your lifestyle right now?
Well, now we've moved and we're living in West Bali most of the time. This is our base for most of the year anyway. And between living here, head off on short assignments for different magazines, different areas.
And do you move a lot, or most of the time you stay in Bali?
A lot, more than we really like to. We love being here. We probably like to stay here a lot longer.
Yes.
But, yeah, we hit the road probably for 4 or 5 months each year.
Really? And where do you?
Sometimes a little bit in Europe, but mostly Africa, around Asia.
Really?
Yeah,
That
Latin
sounds so
America.
cool.
I feel Latin American.
My ground, and I won't back down. Hey, baby, there ain't no easy way out. Hey,
Just like Darwin's philosophy, everything existing in the nature will always have male version and female version. So this is the female version, male version, and in my hands, and I have coffee beans and the male version and female version. So because I didn't get the red one, but if you look at green, guess what it is? So this obviously is the male version, not as pretty as the female. So this one, if you peel, they have 2 seeds. Oops. Yeah, obviously that one flew away. So you have another one here. And if you look into this one, if you peel, it's hard to do it, but it's green, but actually it has 1 seed in there. So it's very good to learn about coffee beans, where they come from. And so every time we drink coffee, and you know,
A cat cappuccino.
so cat poopchino.
Yeah.
So now you see is the famous local animal called luva. So luva produce coffee. Hello. So how can they make coffee?
So the animal eat the coffee bean, but actually when they eat the coffee bean, they can't digest the coffee bean. So they take only the skin outside, and the bean is swallowed. Then they process it in their stomach like a fermented system to make it.
So this is gonna take about an hour until the coffee eventually cook, and before they come to the house. Real cafe. Oh, this is the roasted.
After they're roasting, they have to grind it.
Tasty. So just grind it afterwards.
Grind it. So we do it by hand.
Cool.
We can use some